What's up, invaders? It's your boy Eli from Ant Invasion, here to give you an update on my ant colonies. Before we get started, I'd like to thank John K for making this background music. It's pretty sick, so thanks for that. Now, if you like Clash of Clans, no matter the skill level, I've made an official Ant Keepers clan that anyone can join. The name for this clan is simply Ant Keepers, so head on down there, it should be great. Also, there has been a big change for one of our fellow ant tubers, which he too goes by the name of John. If you've watched some of my previous vids, you'd know that John and I are talking on and off. He sent me a couple of dope colonies, which I'll get to later, and originally he was known as John from Antmate, but things have changed. After constant talk with Jordan Dean and the crew over at Ant Australia, John has now changed the name of his channel to Ant Australia Community, which he explains more about in his recent video, so go check that out and sub to my man John. He's been a real help with Ant Invasion and he's got some sick plans for the future, so go subscribe and like all his stuff. Seriously, you won't regret it. I've left all his links in the description, so no worries trying to find him. Anyway, one of John's brilliant ideas was an ant keeping Facebook group, which is currently at around 600 members. On this group we share ant pics, ask questions, and just generally talk about the amazing hobby of keeping ants. John and I are constantly on there talking with fans, so head over there if you've got any questions or if you just want to join the fun. Again, I've left the link in the description. And the final words of thanks go to the boys over at Ant Australia. Once again, these guys have hooked me up with their brand new range of formicariums. This time they are made of high clarity acrylic, but I'll get more in depth with a full review coming out soon. Now, I haven't really shown you guys my colonies in quite a while, so this should be exciting. Okay, so in the first box we have a mystery queen, which we still aren't 100% sure on the species. So if you guys have any idea, leave a comment on your thoughts. I'll pin whoever is correct. This mystery queen doesn't have any eggs yet, but I'm thinking she might lay when it becomes even warmer than it already is. Now, next in the box is a Rhytopenera metallica queen, which my friend found thinking she was infertile and gave it to me. Initially, I was going to release her the next day, but I went back to check on her and she had about 6 eggs. So instead I'm going to keep her and I'm going to feed her a cricket leg once about every 3 days. And we will see how she goes. We then have probably my favourite queen at the moment, the almighty meat ant queen, or also known as the Iridomyrmex purpuris. When John sent me this queen, she only had tiny weeny little eggs, but now she has huge larvae, which I expect to hatch into workers in about 3 to 4 weeks from now. Compared to other large species, the infamous meat ant grows so fast, which I've been warned of by many experienced ant keepers. So again, we will see how things pan out. I'm thinking of moving her and her first nonatics into an Ant Australia nest, but I'm not sure which would be a better choice, the acrylic or whitong. Then, after they outgrow that, I'll probably put them into the naturalistic setup. Now, in the second box, we have an Iridomyrmex bignelli colony, with 5 workers and a crazy amount of pupae, which is awesome. I can't wait to see how this colony pans out. Usually I find that bickies love their freshly killed flies, and won't really accept much else protein-wise. This here is one of my Notoncus queens, which has 3 larvae. Something interesting to know about this queen is that before I even saw my first ever Notoncus worker, I managed to catch myself 3 queens instead. I guess that's pretty cool, but yeah, other than that, I've only seen Notoncus once before. Hopefully I'll have a colony going, just like John over at Ants Australia Community does. Here's another bignelli colony, with a crazy amount of eggs, yet again due to hatch pretty soon. But this colony of bignelli is kinda sad, because as you can see, her first worker drowned in the puddle of water. I think what happened was the queen accidentally pulled at the cotton, creating a small gap for water to escape. Same with this colony, it's pretty sad. Originally I had a dual queen action going on with this colony. They were doing completely fine until one of the queens was killed by the other. Bickies aren't known to be polygynous, but obviously I was trying to make it happen. Anyway, well, on the upside, she did lay heaps of eggs, so this colony is going to be going out of control in the next couple of weeks, which should be interesting. So maybe a while back when I showed you my queen ant collection, I found this super small queen ant. She surprisingly is still alive, yet no eggs are in sight. Psych, yes they are.
Oh my dude, you just got pranked! Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?
As I just said, she has about 3 eggs that she's carrying right now, that you can see on the screen, and they're tiny. I'll be surprised to see what species pops out from this. Yep, you guessed it, it's another bignelli colony. No workers, but yes, eggs and pupae ready to hatch in a couple of weeks. Now I'm moving on to a colony which John over at Ants Australia Community sent me. Originally this was a quadruple Fidole colony, which was doing absolutely amazing, until the workers arrived. Then one of the queens was killed, which left 3 queens and 3 workers in the test tube. I was very envious of Jordan Dean's Fidole colony in the huge naturalistic setup, so I decided to do the same thing, except on a smaller scale. I moved the Fidole colony into the setup, which they had no worries doing. Then a couple of days later, I went to check up on them, feeding them a mealworm. No workers emerged from the nest in ages. Now, at first I was pretty worried, but then it hit me. From previous experience, usually the workers don't go out foraging until there is lots more of them. So maybe I'll just have to give this colony some time. Next up is a Campo colony. They aren't doing as well as I wanted them, but yet again, I think we should just give them some time. This is my bignelli colony, with dual queens. They seem to be working fine together, so hopefully things don't go downhill from here. Currently, they're housed in the all-new Ants Australia acrylic nests, which they were kind enough to send some my way. I'd like to say thanks to the crew at Ants Australia for once again supplying, in my opinion, the best quality formicariums to me. Here is yet another colony inside an AA nest, which might be my fave at the moment. These girls are Technomyrmex and grow extremely fast. The reason for this is usually the colony doesn't have a queen present. Instead, fertile workers lay eggs, some of which turn into wingless males, which then mate with workers so that they can lay eggs as well. As you can see, There is a few dead workers within the nest. I saw some workers fighting and assumed that some foreign workers managed to hitch a ride in the moving process. Okay guys, you may be thinking, what about the Opisthops colony? Well, I've saved those goals for another video, so stay tuned for that one in the future. Same goes for the Bicknelly colony in the naturalistic setup. I'll show them to you next week. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this vid. If so, chuck us a like and subscribe to become one of my amazing invaders. Till next time, Ant Invasion out.